This video is sponsored by Skillshare. I'm a comic creator making my own universe, and in this video I created my very own superhero team in 24 hours. And I even had my subscribers rate each character on the team from 1 to 10 to see which superhero would be the most popular. For my first character, I wanted him to be the genius of the group. He's the only hero on the team with no powers. Even though he's only human, he makes up for that using the tech he creates in his lab. His superhero name is the Noisemaker, and he has sound-based abilities. His origin story started when he was 9 years old. His parents were scientists, a part of a secret society called the Council of Breeders. These were a group of scientists who helped hide and protect their greatest creation, the Insectids. Half human, half insect beings with superhuman abilities. I cover more of them in this video on how I created my own power system. The breeders knew after creating Insectids that they needed a way to keep them in check, and invented a chemical called NXD that can kill Insectids but is also lethal to humans as well. His parents, being breeders, had to use NXD quite a lot for their work, especially to deal with rogue Insectids. One day while at work with his mother, an Insectid who was meant to be locked up in a cell escaped. Kelele, aka the Noisemaker, was in danger of being murdered by this rogue termite Insectid. His mother, however, decided to lock herself in a room with the Insectid and detonate an NXD gas bomb, which killed both her and the escapee in the process. This all happened as 9-year-old Kelele watched as his mother died, gasping for air in silence while he couldn't help. After these traumatizing events, he decided to spend his life trying to invent sound and frequency-based weapons that the breeders could use to contain Insectids, instead of the deadly NXD gas. This is the origin of his code name, the Noisemaker. He has 2 noise guns that he can use for different things, including blasting enemies across the room, as well as moving around by pointing them down to the ground. On his boots, he has wheels that pop out to skate around, and combining this with his noise guns, he can move around pretty quickly. Personality-wise, he's the funny one in the group. He's the guy who makes the jokes and comes up with the name ideas for the villains and stuff, beyond him just being a genius. Now, while he uses his noise guns for long-range attacks, for short-range attacks and melee attacks, he usually uses this machete he calls Mr. Panga. For defense, he either runs for his life or, he hides behind his stronger teammates.
Like a personal point of view, I'd give it like a 6. But so far, so far so good. But personally, I don't really. Maybe it's just that for me, I still don't feel the motivation yet.
For me, this is like an easy 8-9. I enjoy tech-based type of characters. So this falls perfectly into that, yeah.
I think that the sound thing is very, very versatile. I like that you've played around with it so that it's not just some typical, like, black kind of thing, shouts, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I also like that he's able to, like, it's not his only thing, so he has, like, some genius level kind of intellect. I dig that a lot. Out of 10, if I'm just thinking of him separately, I'd probably go with maybe a 6.5, a conservative estimate, because I don't really know him that well yet, but 6.5.
We are now 4 hours into the 24 hours challenge and 20% done with the workload. But we still need to finish with the other team members, so after the genius character, I had to create concept art of the muscle of the group, the powerhouse, and her name is Red Crusher. Now, Red Crusher is an insectid with an ant swarm. There's 4 types of insectids. There's ants, bees, locusts, and termite. The ant swarms are physically the strongest and they're only challenged by termite swarms. She was born among the ant people, but lost her parents at a very young age. According to tradition, every insectid colony has their queen adopt an orphan child from other colonies as a sign of peace with the other insectids. She was adopted by the queen of the bee colony and thus was raised in the queen's palace. She had to go to school with mostly bee insectids and ended up getting bullied by a lot of them for being different. One day while minding her own business, the school bully tried pushing her around and instantly regretted it. As she raised her hand to hit her, she instantly grabbed her wrist and crushed her whole arm by squeezing. This earned her fear and respect from everyone around and was the origin of her name, the Red Crusher. She mostly moves around by running, which means she's the slowest member of the team, but still the strongest. Most of her attacks are based on her strength, so long range attacks, she throws things or claps her hands together. Her melee attacks would mostly be her using her super strength to punch people. Her defense would be her suit that she wears, aka her swarm, because insectid swarms are nearly indestructible. Despite her scary name and the fact that she could probably throw a bus at you, the Red Crusher is actually the nicest member of the team. She's a super bubbly person who loves cute animals and babies. Oh, also she has a pet meerkat with his own swarm.
This is a bit of a tough one.
How come?
Because I kind of like the idea that the muscle you kind of subverted it by making the muscle to be like a female, and she doesn't have the aesthetic of what you'd expect the muscle to have.
Yeah.
Her personality, I like that the muscle is a gentle giant.
Yeah.
But then again, the personality has the same issue where it has been done, but then it hasn't been done as much, so it's still a 50-50. So overall, for now, I'll give her a 5 because she's still in the middle. She can go either way.
I like the fact that she's strong and being based on the ant insectoid type of thing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
The backstory as well also makes sense. So you're doing a little world building for me here, which is drawing me in even more.
Okay.
I'd probably give her like a 7. She's like really intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see, well, now I guess it's charisma rating, but I'd like to see more of her to know like more about where this goes.
Yeah, okay. But you're not as sold on her as you are the noisemaker.
Me, I told you, me and tech guys are.
Yeah, I get you.
That Crusher's narrative backstory hasn't quite been as fleshed out.
Yeah.
As Kelele's. Tuseme where I'd just give her a 5. She's okay.
Yeah.
She's okay.
We've done the genius character, we've created the muscle character, now we need to create the mentor of the group. The one who helps our main character learn how to use his powers and improve his skills. Usually they help the hero go through the training montage. Just like I had to go through my own training montage when learning how to create characters and superheroes. The difference is I had to do it alone, but it's always easier when you have someone holding your hand along the way. That's where Skillshare comes in. Skillshare is an incredible online learning community with thousands of classes on everything from art to writing and all the stuff you need to create your own superhero universe. Just look at this amazing character design class by Jazza. If any of you know him, he has a YouTube channel about art, and he also has a class on Skillshare where he teaches character design. It only takes 1 hour, 4 minutes to finish, and you go through everything that you need for character design fundamentals, the entire process, finding inspiration, sketching. You're basically shortcutting the learning process by having somebody walk you through it step by step on Skillshare. And here's something special. Skillshare is offering the first 500 people who join using my link in the description are going to get 1 month of Skillshare Premium for absolutely free. This is an amazing opportunity. Make sure you take it right now, and then maybe you can start creating your own characters within an hour, 4 minutes. Click on the link in the description, start your free month today, and thank you to Skillshare for partnering with us. In the team, the mentor of the group is an interesting character called the White Locust. He was born an illegal child. The 4 insected types aren't meant to mix with each other. The secret society of scientists I mentioned earlier basically made this rule for them because they didn't want overpowered insectids who can't be controlled. His parents were a forbidden love, but that didn't really stop them. Him being an illegal child and an orphan meant that he was treated as a dangerous abomination. He was admired but feared at the same time. He was lucky enough to get adopted by the queen of the bee colony along with Red Crusher. His abilities are a mix of the termite and locust insectids, meaning he has both arm strength and mandibles plus superhuman leg strength. He's the one who's going to be training our main character Project 10 on how to use his powers. As much as he is the mentor of the team, he's also the youngest, being only 16 years old. He kinda acts like an old man sometimes and prefers being in the company of people who are much older than him. He doesn't get along well with the noisemaker because, he considers him immature, but the noisemaker is way older than him because the noisemaker is in his 20s. Despite his age, the White Locust is actually a prodigy, and due to his mix, he's one of the most powerful insectids of all time.
I think for now, personality-wise, he's the most interesting to me so far. I like the whole mixed race thing because it'll give us a bit more insight into how all these different groups function. Yeah. And also how their powers work, and the fact that he is a mix of two gives you a great opportunity to show like new things. So for now, let's say I'll give him a 7 because just personality-wise, he's my favorite so far.
Scale 1 to 10, I'm liking the illegal origins. I'm liking the color scheme.
Yeah.
I'd say put him 7.5 rate somewhere there.
7.5.
So his narrative structure, the backstory is similar to Kelele's, so I like that a lot. I also think green and white.
Yeah.
I'm not so familiar with a lot of characters who do that.
Yeah.
Well, none come to mind. So I think he's definitely one of the people who stand out. Because black and red is pretty common.
Yeah.
Blue and white is pretty common too. So this color scheme I think works. It's making the characters stand out. Out of 10, I think I would give this one an 8. I would give him an 8.
The hell? Yeah.
Like there's way more potential than anyone else I've seen You did a good job with him.
The spy of the group is called the Ghost Hopper, and she's actually related to the White Locust. That's his older sister. She's called Ghost Hopper because despite her not getting mixed genes from her parents, she did get 2 weird swarm mutations. First one being, unlike other locusts, her eyes are red instead of yellow, and she has much better vision, especially night vision, because of this. She also has another crazy ability, which is called ghost hopping. When other locust insectids jump, they're extremely loud and powerful, but for the Ghost Hopper, she's able to hop in absolute silence, which means she's good with stealth. By the time you see her red eyes, it's already too late. She's a very flirtatious character, basically the bop of the group Loki, and overprotective of her younger brother. When they need someone to sneak in somewhere, she's usually the one for the job.
So I think the whole, again, same with the White Locust, the whole mixing thing that interests me. Like you said, she's mostly locust, right?
Yeah.
And the White Locust, his issue, like part of his conflict is that he's a mix, so he's kind of not really welcome. So I'm interested to see how they will treat her because she kind of blends in and she's kind of like, let's say, an improvement. So I'm trying to see. I'm gonna give her the same as her brother and give her a 7. Actually, no, I'll give her a 6 for now. I might change on a little bit, but yeah, let's give her a 6.
I also really like that kind of character, the sort of femme fatale, super assassin kind of person. Go and get like, do I want to put it above Noisemaker?
Wow.
let's say 9. Let's put them on equal footing.
When it comes to how much I like the character, I like her a lot. Yeah, I'm going to contrast her with Red Crusher because her narrative spin is very, very interesting, especially with the sibling dynamic there, and now how she also adds a different perspective onto them being wards for a different colony. I like that a lot. So I think I would also give this character an 8 to an 8.5, ranging in between that.
The leader of the group is also the main character, Project N. Unlike his fellow members, he's the only one who has zero knowledge on the secret world of insectids. The insectids live in a secret underground city, and he grew up on the surface inside the dome city of Nairobi Haven. The story actually begins when the queen of the bee colony sends the Red Crusher to go into the haven and bring him back to his people. He never knew about this because his father, who was a part of the secret society of scientists, decided he wanted his son to live a normal life and hid all of this from him. He eventually discovers his abilities and that he's actually the last male bee insectid drone because the company that created the insectids killed a lot and all of the remaining bee drones. He's going to be learning everything from scratch and has to catch up to his teammates. He is, however, a really good planner and a strategic thinker. Actually, his day job before his life turned around was an architect, kind of like how bees are nature's architects. Personality-wise, his strategic thinking often makes him an overthinker, so this does make it hard for him to make decisions because he's always coming up with like 50 plus scenarios in his head, stressing himself out for nothing. His powers are very much bee-like, so he's the only one on the team who can fly. He has super strength, and his most unique ability is his electricity. This is because in nature, bees actually collect pollen by flapping their wings together so fast that they create an electrical charge that attracts the pollen to them. This, in human size, allows him to be ridiculously overpowered. Despite all his strengths, he's still susceptible to NXD like any other insect.
So far, nothing really stands out for me. As to him, he feels like it's a character I've already heard about before. So I'm still trying to figure out how I'd connect to him. But I still like the idea of him being kind of
the audience
surrogate.
Surrogate, yeah.
And also like how you'll resolve that part of the issue of how comes he was able to integrate into society for so long while the others haven't been able to. So yeah, I'll give him the same as 6.
Scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna put him at. This design is really cool. I ain't gonna lie. That design is super cool. You know what? I'm gonna break the mold. Let's say this guy gets 9.5. I'll put him first.
I think I would give him a 9. He definitely embodies the hero archetype. Yeah, I'll explain why. I think he definitely embodies the hero archetype. And with him, he's going to be the driver of the entire story because he's the main character. He's going to be the audience's vehicle to the underground and to the other colonies. So he will be basically us embodied. So it's really going to be an interesting journey reading him. And I like that a lot. I really, really like that a lot. I like that for all of the characters, and I think this is something you do really well. You ground them so superbly. I like that you've related how the bees build their hives, and like you said, they're nature's architects, and how that ties into him being an architect. Like, even though he's above ground, he still cannot deny who he is because it influences him. I also think that as you do this more, and as you keep with it, because you've been very consistent, at least from where I'm standing. I don't know about you by yourself, but I think you've tried to be very consistent with this, and I would like for you to maintain that, because it's showing. And both with your YouTube content and with your published printed work, I like that this is something you're taking very seriously, and I would also encourage you to just keep at it.
Seems like the most popular character is Project Ed, and the least is the Red Crusher. I like hearing you guys' opinions on the stuff because, it just helps me understand better what I need to work on, and I really appreciate anyone who decided to participate in this, including the people on Patreon who had some strange suggestions. Looking at you, Ray. Looking at you. I just realized I didn't come up with a name for the team, so if you guys have any suggestions, drop them in the comments. Also mention your favorite character so far in the lineup. After that, you should probably check out this video next.